let's get to the tier list and let's talk about the Big 11 because I think that's pretty fun. Of course, shout out to tiermaker.com. Found a little list of the Shadow of the Erdtree bosses for a tier list maker. Over here, we will have the top favorites, fantastic, great, good, mid. If you guys want to do that, we do that. You know what I mean? I think on the other one, Barrett, it has S, A, B, C, D, but it has everybody and their mama on the second one. So we'll do S, A, B, C, D for the tier list right there. And we'll just grab the Big 11. It also has the names of them all. But, guys, let's start from the top. I'll take you for the first one. The Divine Beast, the Dancing Lion. Where do we fall on the Dancing Lion? And did you like it? Did you not? What'd you think of the Dancing Lion?
I loved it. I would give Dancing Lion probably I'm somewhere in like the A range.
Yeah, I think it's a good, like, especially where the DLC points you to, like that being your first big fight. I think it's a really good big fight for the DLC to set the tone.
I like the different phases of wind, lightning, ice. I thought that was really cool. I actually preferred the second Dancing Lion fight. I think that arena was a little bit cooler of a look and a vibe, and I also liked the music. Maybe I just listened to it a little bit harder, but I felt like the music
was going off.
The whole vibe in the second one was way better than the first one.
It fucking summons those fucking
Death
Blight fuckers. I hated that fight.
The basilisks. So cool. Yeah. All right, so let's go around. Tam, what'd you think?
I think the Dancing Lion's an A. I think. Actually, I think actually might think of it as a B. Okay. I think like the fact that there's two of them is what makes it a little more B to me.
You get extra points for the creativity for me for like it being two dudes in a dancing lion suit, and when you have a cutscene, when you have your own dedicated cutscene, that's extra points for me as well.
Yeah.
And it was horrifying to look at.
The thing that I was a little annoyed by, not annoyed, but like I was hoping would have worked out was there's that one NPC who is like hidden away and will
Grandam?
She's like curse you and all this kind of stuff. And then I'm pretty sure it's her who's like saying the spell that brings it back to life. Yeah. And I was like, maybe if I kill the NPC, it will impact the boss fight. As far as I can tell, nothing happens.
Barrett, where do you fall on the Dancing Lion? A, B, C, D? Where do you go?
I would go B. I agree with Tim's point of like using him again later. I think lessens the impact overall looking back. I still think it's a really great starting point for the DLC in terms of big bosses.
Okay. I like that. I'm going to go B as well. I really like that I get the mask, though, so I'll put that one out of B. Let's go to
ridiculously big, though.
The next is so cool. Rilana. Thank you. Rilana, Twin Moon Knight. Where do we fall on this one, Andy Cortez?
This is an A for me. Even though there's no cutscene, and I see a great comment in chat saying, from Holy Schneike says, Rilana not getting a cutscene is a travesty. I agree.
Yeah.
I wish Rilana had a cutscene. But I also wish FromSoft did a lot of things differently production-wise. Like, why the fuck is the intro to Elden Ring, the whole video game, an animatic and not a CG sort of intro like, Dark Souls was and all that? Yeah. I think Rilana should have had a cutscene. I loved the fighting style. I loved the combat. I loved the Phase 2 suddenly igniting both of these twin blade swords. Fantastic moveset. Unpredictable at times, just like unrelenting. I think it's like such a sick ass boss fight. She's so cool.
Tam?
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm an A with Rilana. I also like the weapon you get from her, like the twin blade. It's really fun having like the moon slice thing and also the fire column. It's clutch. It's good to run around and kill little scrub enemies with.
Yeah. Did you find yourself battling between going like, should I just get either my intellect or my faith to the minimum and have the other one more powerful?
Yeah.
Did you find yourself like having trouble balancing both of those? Because that's how I always felt with Sword of Night and Flame.
I didn't really change. I just happened to be ready for it.
Okay.
So my main stat was Arcane. So I was Arcane Strength build, and it just so happened that it worked out to work with me. So I took it for what it is. It's
That's
like
cool.
not super powerful, but it's just fun.
I like that. Barrett, where do we fall?
Yeah, I would go A as well. I like the rhythm of the fight, the attack patterns, the jumping with the moon and all that stuff. Like, there's just something rhythmically of going back and forth with Rolana that I really enjoy. And then, yeah, the weapon that you get from her, I use for a majority of the rest of the DLC. So yeah, I think she's A tier.
I will agree with both or all three of you. I'm going to go A as well. I loved the igniting of the two swords. I thought that's super wicked cool, especially when you play co-op. I'm always looking for bosses that will close the gap on me and my co-op partner, of course, with Andy, of like, oh, me and Andy are playing who will take the aggro. But I love a good boss that will always keep us on our toes and like quickly turn and be like, no, you're the priority now, and make you kind of shriek up really quick and run away. I think she's got that closing speed, which is awesome. So give it an A on that one. Up next, Commander Gaius. Tam, I'll start with you. What'd you think about the big commander on the boar?
I really dislike Gaius. It's kind of an annoying boss fight.
Tam, I'm ready to hold hands with you on this one. I didn't even fucking remember that this guy was a major fight.
Yeah, I think he's probably a D. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. The problem I have is like great lore, but as far as like bosses on mounts go, like it's a far cry from Gyobu and Sekiro, and that's like my bar. Like Gyobu's such a fun boss fight. This dickhead's just like constantly on your ass with gravity magic. It reminds me of fighting the armored boar from Dark Souls 1. It's not a good time. Like it's just annoying. It's a bit of a pest, and that's how it felt to me. I feel like he's a D for me.
And in terms of like other like mounted bosses, like you have the Putrescent Knight, who is like a way more interesting mounted boss because it doesn't quite feel like a mounted kind of boss fight. It feels unique.
Yeah, that boss was sick.
This Gaius just like Gaius kind of feels like a rinse and repeat of was it the guy who's like right at the beginning of the game, Andy?
Tree Sentinel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got some Tree Sentinel-ish moves. I give him a C. This is one boss that as I was talking about, we all have the bosses that you hear everybody struggled with, and suddenly you did really great against them. And we all have the bosses that you took hours and hours, and you hear that a lot of people had much easier times against. A lot of that is like just builds and matchups and stuff. Guys, I had no issues with. I just kind of wish he was overall cooler.
Okay.
But I once I kind of got down the move set, and he has that like 5-move flurry, I really enjoyed the speed and the skill that it took to dodge all of those little moves. He does like a lot of swipes, and the boar's head is moving. I don't hate this guy as much as everybody else does.
Yeah, for me, I got the Sekiro vibes, Tam, like you said. I thought it was really cool stepping into his arena where you walk through the gates and you see this beautiful new area that you haven't explored yet, and you're like, oh man, it's always exciting to go somewhere new. And it kind of had that fall foliage. It had some trees, some high grass, and then he comes whipping out of nowhere on the boar. I thought was like a really cool opening. And then some of his moves where he's flying and he has the gravity magic like we see with Radon. Like, it was cool callbacks. He is relentless. I love that you get a bunch of, shadow tree fragments afterwards, the skidoos, so he pays off well. But I'll agree with all of you. I'll give him a D as well. And so let's move on to the next one there. Number 8, the Shadow Tree avatar, or the Skidoo Tree avatar. This, I'll start off, one of my favorite bosses. I'm a big sunflower guy, and I loved seeing this sunflower tree running around after us. It reminded me of of course, Elden Tree. What have we called those guys?
Erdtree avatars?
The Erdtree avatars really brought me back to that one. I loved the charge attack of where it would fly after you, or you kill it once and then it would come back to life a second and third time. I thought this was a wild fight, especially in a really kind of rotted and gross, swampy area. This one was cool to me. I'm going to give this one a solid B for me.
I'd give this a C. I'm close to a B only because of the setting and the environment that it's in. I love the walk up. I love how there's just this thing off in the distance that You know it's probably going to be a boss. You know something's going to come to life and some shit's going to kind of surprise you. But I really enjoyed that walk up and the scenery and the setting of it all. The moveset, surprisingly not awful. Like, I expected this boss fight, especially with it having its 3 phases, I expected this to be a lot more annoying.
How
it
big
wasn't.
the arena is too, and like how big the attacks can be. Like to me, it felt like a less annoying Elden Beast.
Yeah, I'd give this a C, but it's close to a B for me.
Barrett?
I would personally give this an A. I love the design of the avatar. I love just how freaky and weird it moves around when it's doing those big attacks. I really love the music for it. I think the lore is interesting because this is where you get Miquella's rune. So just like, I don't know if there's anything specifically of like why Miquella came here to let go of that, but I think there's something interesting there that I'm into. Yeah, I don't know. I really like this one, so I would give it an A, but I would concede to a B.
Tam, you get to decide. Where is this one going?
I think B. I like the design more than I like fighting it. I have a thing with bosses that disappear and reappear. I find them really annoying. But I love the idea of a fucking evil sunflower boss. So I would say a B.
Let's give it a B. I also appreciate when you took it down. People in the chat were like, Andy, now go crit it really quick before it comes back. I thought that was always fun.
Takes off like
yes,
25% of the health for the next phase.
Let's go to the next one, the Putrescent Knight. Barrett, you talked about this one earlier, and I really love what you brought up about how this is a mounted enemy, but it uses the mount so differently of getting off the mountain, the mount's flying at you, and he's coming at you. It was really dope. So, Barrett, you start us off.
Oh man, this is tough. Yeah, I would give this. I would give this a B. I think like the moveset's really cool. The reason I'm thinking B is just because I haven't thought too much about him since I've fought him. Like to me, it's more of like when you discovered that Saint Trina's down there, you're like, holy shit. But I just liked it because I'm not huge into mounted fights, but this one was well done in my opinion, and things got weird and freaky, and his design is just kind of fucked up, which I enjoy.
Yeah, this would be like a surefire C for me, but I give it extra points for I love the look of this whole arena. I love the gigantic drop down into the arena, like just taking this leap of faith off of a statue or off of like this mounted piece of a boat that you're just diving down into the abyss. All of that lead up was so damn cool.
Oh.
I don't think the moveset was cool enough, nor do I think the music or the ambiance was cool enough, but I love the design of him. Just had a weird looking body with this half dead horse that isn't even real. I couldn't even begin to explain what the hell it even was. I think I would lean towards a C.
Tam, where did he fall?
Yeah, I think I'd be a C as well. It looked a lot like Orphan of Cos, which was a bonus for it. But yeah, it's similar reasons to Andy. I think a C is. I didn't enjoy fighting it that much. Again, I feel like the camera was sometimes a little unwieldy, but it took me like 1 second to figure out, oh, I just need to approach it this way. It was a fun fight, but I think it looked cooler than it actually played.
Agreed.
Okay, let's give it a C there, Barrett.
This episode is brought to you by our very good friends over at NVIDIA GeForce. Kind of Funny and NVIDIA GeForce have been working together for almost 4 years now, and they were one of our first sponsors at the Spare Bedroom. So when we reached out to them to be a part of Getty's Live on Stage, Gia and I's wedding spectacular, they couldn't say no. They've harnessed the immense power of AI to make PC gaming unlike anything you or anyone else has experienced before. NVIDIA DLSS 3.5 is one of those advanced techs. It multiplies game performance and it allows you to immerse yourself in the most advanced graphics possible, like full ray tracing and realistic lighting. New features on GeForce RTX's powerful 40 series cards, like AI-enabled DLSS frame generation and DLSS ray reconstruction, put you in the game like never before. And NVIDIA Reflex reduces the latency in your gaming PC and gives you a competitive edge by reducing the time from click to on-screen action. The future is bright. Take it from all of us here at Kinda Funny. It's the best time ever to game on PC, and it's only going to get better from here, especially with NVIDIA and the awesome promise of GeForce RTX. This episode's brought to you by BetterHelp. We all carry around different stressors, big and small. I'm currently planning a wedding, so I know all about that. But when we keep them bottled up, it can start to affect us negatively. Therapy helps you find your strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. You can get out of your negative thought cycles and find some mental and emotional peace, and it can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. Some of my best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself, and it isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapist at any time for no additional charge. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit betterhelp.com/kindafunny today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindafunny.
And we'll move on to the next one. We got a fun one coming up here. Messmer the Impaler. Tam, where do we fall on the big snake man?
I would put it at an S. Like I feel like
Yes.
yes for snake.
Yeah, nice.
The thing I like about it is the scale of the fight ramps up pretty significantly. You start off with, you're fighting a dude, humanoid, and then when the snakes get involved, you're like, he's turning into a snake and like coming down and exploding, and then you fight a little version of him. And it's a very, very high energy, high kind of like demands on skill and timing boss fight that I really enjoyed. And also like I said, snakes and fire, good combo.
Downloading the moveset for this one, I don't think I've ever felt cooler than me and Mike having those co-op moments where I was like, this is the stuff of Legends right here.
Yep.
Like, everybody clip this out, this movement. If you want to know how to beat him, just fucking watch what I did the last
Andy's
minute.
dialed in here.
I love the skill involved. I love the setting. Again, extra points, even more extra points for the video intro, for getting that cutscene for both phases.
And mid-fight cutscene.
And mid-fight
Yeah.
cutscene with the eyeball. Yep.
Just super sick, man. All the lore, everything about this is just SSS.
Barrett?
Yeah, I would say S. The music as well, because it sounds like a weird, haunted version of like the main Elden Ring theme, which I think is like a good use of the fake out of like you think this is the end. If you're fighting him before you get to Romina or like kind of figure out like what the rest of the game is leading to. I think it's really well done. Easy S.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I love the weapon. I love when he catches you and all of a sudden lights you on fire. I love the snake coming down and biting on you, coming out from the ground, coming from the side of the arena. I love the 5 snakes where I'd be screaming, Andy, survive, while I'm just kind of standing in the corner. It was an incredible fight, and this is someone I thought was going to be the final boss. I was surprised of like, oh, we're fighting him early, but it was so much fun and absolutely brutal. This was an incredible fight.
David Short says the grab was so brutal. Man, he was one-tapping Mike so many times with the grab. We would feel so much confidence after a run, and then suddenly, oh, all right, see you later. Well, let me back out right now as you're being grabbed.
Up next, Romina, Saint of the Bud. Andy, you spoke very highly about this one. Tell me where you're going to rank.
I mean, overall for a boss fight, I would still put this kind of low.
Okay.
I just really enjoyed the visuals and the look of the enemy. Like when I say design, I'm just purely talking about aesthetic design. I don't think it did anything wild mechanically or like game design wise that would really, really rank it super high for me. I would probably put it. Yeah, I'm gonna put it at a B just because I love the visuals of it, and it was like the only boss that when we were reviewing it that I've one-timed.
Okay.
It was the only one.
Tam, where do you fall?
The problem I have with this one is I destroyed this boss so fast that I barely got to see any of it.
Yeah.
I just like rocked in there. I was like, oh, it's dead. You got killed.
I think after all the other stresses that I had endured doing like my no summon thing, I was like, you know what? Thank you for being easy. It's like when you watch a shitty in review movie,
Yeah.
and we're like, oh, thank God that was an hour and 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
Barrett? Or
I do,
Tam?
I do like the way that it kind of reminds me of bosses from the earlier Dark Souls games,
Yes,
like
yes.
Quailag, and,
Oh, yeah.
and like characters from there. So I feel like it endears me to that a bit more, just because humanoid scorpion. But it also reminds me of those goddamn pest enemies, the weird ones that have got the fucking sniper web shot. That is
Oh,
yeah.
insane.
Oh,
So
those
I both.
fuckers.
I hate they're the worst enemy ever created by From Software. Every time I see them, I'm like, oh, here we go again. So I would put Romina at probably a C.
okay. Barrett?
I would put Romina at a C, but like definitively above
Putrescent Knight.
Putrescent Knight, like the high of the C tier.
Interesting. Yeah, Romina for me is an A. I actually really love the design of centipede meets scorpion and the humanoid in the middle. Like Andy brought up, I loved the arena and the color pop that you really don't see in any of this world that
The
we ever
butterfly
play.
move.
I was just going to bring up the butterfly move for me was like so cool to see on the screen. It really brings it up. I thought it was a lot of fun. So yeah, let's be in the middle.
We'll put
Let's
it at
give it a B. I like
Yeah.
that. Nice in the B. Up next, we only have 4 left, so we'll tear through them and have some fun. It's Bayle the Dread.
Bayle!
Barrett, start us off with the big dragon
This
man.
one fucking kicks ass. I think this is another S tier. He's really hard. Like it's him and Radon that gave me the most trouble in this DLC. But he's such a satisfying fucking fight. The music goes crazy. The visuals are insane. Even the build up to Bayle is so fucking good. Ascending that entire mountain.
So
I
cool.
think
Full
I
of
think
dragons.
Bale's got to be a
Yup.
S.
I agree. I think Bayle is an S. Everything Barrett mentions, including that second phase, it was theater. Like you were watching a play on stage and just kind of getting all of the acts, and it was just really, really awesome progression.
And the chat brings up the summon. Of course, you can summon Homeboy out there who is ready to fight.
Who I couldn't.
the dragon.
I didn't do that quest line, so I never got him. But I've heard good things, fun things.
Tam, where do you fall on Bayle the Dread?
That's an easy S. Bayle is the one that like I fought him and I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun, so I'm gonna leave it for later to have something to come back to after I've written my review. So I enjoyed Bayle a lot.
Yeah, we all agree on the S then as well.
Awesome production.
Beautiful arena, walking up the top of the peak, fighting all those dragons. So badass. The storyline of what Bayle is and what he has done is like really cool. I'm all about that fight. Yeah, that was badass.
Yeah, chat pointing out, like, look at his neck and being like, oh shit, that's the third missing head from Plaxico Burris, Placido Sax.
Wild stuff. Number 3, Midra, the Frenzied Flame.
This is like so close to an S for me. I'm gonna say fuck it. I give it an S.
Cutscene's amazing.
I just love the production of it all. I do think that some of the mechanics may bring it down to like an A, because I just think some of the moves were annoying and felt unfair enough, but all of the other stuff that I just look for in video games to like wow me visually all make it stay in the S category for me.
Yeah, this is an S tier for me. I thought the cutscene was badass. I thought the lead up through the manor was really awesome, and through the swamps up to them. I think the weapon that you get is super sick if you use the down ability on someone and puts it through someone's head and impales them.
Shout out to Melissa with a Y yesterday in the chat, because we decided to actually beat the game after we beat the DLC.
Yeah.
And Melissa said, Andy, you're about to fight Gideon. Use Midra's weapon on Gideon. And man, it was just me just spamming left trigger, just diving into the head, expanding that, golden ability. It was hilarious. We
Cool
just
as can
spammed him
be.
with it.
And a lot of dope moves. A lot of moves that will go all the way across the map and chase you down and get up on you. A great a stab and grab as well. So I like this one. Tam, where do you fall?
I think it's an S. Like
Wow.
The weapon you get out of it, the theming of it, the fight itself, and the fact that it's another kind of opportunity to get more information about the Frenzied Flame. I love it from like pretty much all perspectives.
I love when we made up lore about it too. We made up lore, you and I.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, I remember his daughter went off into the swamp, got lost.
Oh yeah.
It's because we found the torch. We found, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. This is an S tier. The only downside I have is like when you're going back, like this one took me maybe like somewhere like 5 tries. I didn't love that I had to beat the regular dude every time. Like, just get me into the fight.
Yeah.
But he was easy enough that it was like it wasn't like I was spending hours of like, fuck, just get me out of this first phase.
But when you were annoyed, he would get a hit in. It's like, oh, god damn it, there
I
goes
know,
the flask.
exactly. But then it showed me that fucking sick ass cutscene.
And I'm in
again.
Mike's game, and I only have 8 flasks.
And that is, I think, the only time or the only fight in this DLC where I let that cutscene play every single fucking time.
Ah, so cool. Up next, we have 2 bosses left to rank here. Midra, the mother of fingers.
Midra gets an A for me.
Okay.
I think just all the lead up towards it and the boss arena visually, not only going underground for the first time, but then getting to the actual part where you enter the arena. Both of those, like, both of the scenery there were just so like mesmerizing to look at. I would give this an A because I don't think that the moveset was particularly awesome. But visually, it was just a very stunning boss fight.
It had that really cool orb, though. Remember that, Andy?
The orb.
When it like summons
yeah.
phase 2. It's very cool.
Yeah. I also, like I said earlier, I think the lore revelation is pretty big for me. And it also, like, evoking Rom the Vacuous Spider is always going to get a point from me. But yeah, I in terms of it being a weird dude that From Software has created again, is pretty high on the weird dude list that From Software has made, and it's like, what the hell is this? Some sort of like weird finger horse thing. But yeah, I enjoyed that. I like the ambience of it and the vibe of it a lot. I think that's a A from me.
Okay. Barrett?
Yeah, I would also put this as an A, and I would also consider the like fights that you do right after it kind of a part of it. Just because
good
it's
call.
like it's all like back to back to back, and I really liked that in the design of like you fight the first kind of protector of Metyr or whatever, and then you fight Metyr, and then you fight Emir, and then you fight Emir's guard. I really loved that sequence just in general, but then yeah, the Metyr fight itself, I thought. I would put it at an A.
I like that.
Sure.
I'll go along with you guys. I love the design. This is one of those designs where I go, oh, they went really freaky Bloodborne status on that one to me. So I liked that a lot. All right, guys, the final one. It's Radahn and Miquella. Where are we falling on this fight?
This gets a B for me.
Wow. Wow.
I think visually, all of the stuff that I've already mentioned that makes me love boss fights, the cutscenes, all of the lore, the creativity with the getting hugged and all that.
Yeah.
I just think that second phase is so unfair in a lot of moments. Like, the first phase, fantastic. And I loved even showing the second phase to Barrett recently, him being like, what the fuck are all of these moves?
Yeah, they
'Cause, like,
added moves in the update. It's
a lot
bullshit.
changed. A lot changed from when we reviewed it to when the game came out. And not only does the world get darker every time, which I love, but and that's not to say that the first version of him was easier. Like, I don't. It's just like different movesets.
Moves to get used to. Yeah,
but I think a lot of them just feel really, really unfair at times. To the point where, like, the first phase, difficult enough, but very manageable. And I wish that the second phase leaned a bit more towards, like, the very, like, still manageable portion where, again, the only way I could beat him was by summoning my Mimic tier. And we'll see how that goes the next time when I fight him doing it on my no summons run. But, yeah, it was like 2 hours in, I'm like, I'm struggling against this. And then Barrett's like, it took me 9 hours. I'm like, holy shit. What if I just bust out my Mimic tier and it took me 30 minutes? And that felt like it really trivialized the fight.
Tam?
I would say an A. Again, I need to go back to and play it again just because it was another one of those situations where, unlike most people, I did it on my third try. It took me like 15 minutes. but because of that, I didn't get to see a lot of what he can do, what they can do, because I was just like rushed down. I'm just going to get this done as quickly as possible. But I enjoyed what I did see of him. Like getting to, I thought it was a really cool moment. Like getting to fight Radahn in his prime is pretty awesome. And then having that whole like the lore come together in one moment where it's like, oh, this is what it was all. He was all building up to this. He was trying to make this happen. So because of that, I think it's an A for me. I want to go back and play it again and see what else they've done to him as a fight. So yeah, I'll probably put it in A.
I'll go before.
Also, good
Barrett.
music. Very good music.
Great
good
music.
You're right.
I'm going to give it an A. On my side, it is the big bad. I thought they did a really great job on that one. The first phase was so much fun to watch Andy work on the parries and get the rhythm down and start to parry him. And then I would use, whether it be Night Comet or the rocks, to try to break his poise down. And like the work that we did to get through phase 1. And when we really captured phase 1 and went to phase 2 was so much fun.
Phase 2 boys.
And I mean, the video into phase 2 was awesome, right? And then also, man, there's some moves that I hated, but I love seeing on screen, right? Like the giant golden circle that would explode, that's a cheap move, right? Like it is very difficult to get out of that circle a lot of the time. I probably got hit by it 8 out of 10 times, which I didn't like. I think it's just a little too big of a radius, but I did love, man, seeing his gravity magic when he would go up in the sky and he would shoot 4 of them at him, just like Melania used to. But then on the 5th one, he might look at someone else and go after them, was some of the baddest and coolest stuff you could see on a screen. And the arena was awesome. I loved being up at the top there, looking down on everything. So I'm going to give it an A for me. Barrett, you get to close us out. Where does Radahn and Miquella fall?
I think it goes A. I know this is one that like people are very like split about with in terms of difficulty, and I am on the end of it. Took me 9 fucking hours to beat him, and I've gotten him to him again on my Journey 3 playthrough, and he's just as tough. And I've seen the new moveset, and it's fucking crazy. But yeah, I think just the vibes, the lore, even the movesets, I think are just like so fucking fun, and like downloading him. Not as satisfying, I would say, as Messmer or Bayle, but still very like, I can get this, I can understand this. It reminds me a lot of Melania, but if Melania was taking drug enhancing performance, so.
A little too much visual clutter. I think that's part of it.
Yeah,
for me.
a lot of the moves would
like,
then lead into the golden spires up there. It's just a lot going on all the time.
Part 1 felt more downloadable because it felt easier to read, and part 2,
once the holy stuff gets introduced, where he's using holy gravity and blood.
Yeah, when those spells
crazy.
are kind of taking up a lot of your screen, and it's hard to see what he's doing behind.
Plus me and
the golden move.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Mike shooting a gigantic orb of
every single time.
And I'm like, I can't see what he's doing, so I don't know how to parry him because I got a blinding light of beam in my face.
Guys, this has been an absolute blast. Thank you to everyone that has tuned in and watched. That is our kind of funny tier list for the 11 big baddies of Shadow of the Erdtree.